cake that has rainbow jimmies on it, and I wanted to show you what I do. And if you're wondering what jimmies are sprinkles, but we call them jimmies here in Philly. So I'm going to do two different techniques on this cake. So if you want to see how I put rainbow jimmies on this cake, then just keep on watching. Okay, so to start, the tools you're going to need. A turntable. I always put a piece of non-skid pad on top of the turntable to prevent anything from sliding around. I measured the circumference of the cake that I'm doing this on. It was 27 inches, so I cut a piece of wax paper that is about 29 inches, so it overlaps a little bit. Some piping gel, a paintbrush, a piece of tape, so we can tape this together. Nonpareils, or you can use regular jimmies. These little rainbow nonpareils, I got these on Amazon, I think. I can link them below. And a big cookie sheet that is going to catch all of the sprinkles that go all over the place, because that will happen. So I start by putting the cookie sheet on the turntable and grab the cake that you are going to put the jimmies on. This cake is fresh out of the refrigerator. The icing is solid. You have to do this while the icing is solid, or else you're going to put dents in your icing. Use the edge that was on the wax paper, not the edge that you cut, because it's not going to be straight. I hope that makes sense. Get the piece of tape ready. And whenever I tape something, I always make a little tab. I'm so Monica, if anyone watches Friends. But making a little tab makes it so much easier to peel off, okay? So just have a piece of tape ready. And what we're going to do is, however wide you want the band, that's how much cake you're going to leave out on the end. I really hope my arm is not in the way. It probably is. I know I'm the worst when it comes to this. Okay. So just start by wrapping the wax paper around the cake, and we will adjust it as needed in a minute. So I'm going to want a band that's kind of thick, so I'm going to slide this up the cake a little bit. And then I'm going to take my piece of tape with my handy little tab, and I'm wrapping it tight. I'm pulling it tight around the cake. And then tape it down. Okay, now if you look, it's not even going around the cake. It's really high here, and then it comes down in the front. So what we want to do is pull it up, get down and really eyeball it. So you want to go around the cake. Make sure that it's even, that this band that's showing is even the whole way around. Hold it in place and tighten it as needed. It may not be a perfect the whole way around, but you just want to get it as even as you can. So looking at this looks pretty good. If you really want to be meticulous, you could take a little ruler and measure from the bottom of the cake to where the wax paper starts and see if that's even going all the way around. Somewhere around 2.5 inches. Man, I am pretty good. All right, there we go. Next step, take your paintbrush and your piping gel. I usually take a little bit of piping gel and just put it on the lid. I don't know, it's just easier for me to work with this way. Okay, so get some piping gel on the paintbrush and start painting the exposed part of the icing. I go up onto the wax paper. It kind of, as you go on the wax paper with the piping gel, it kind of glues it down so it's not going to move. You don't want too much. You have to find a happy medium here. So you want to make sure that every single part of this is covered with piping gel, because you need a good coat of it for it to stick. But if you use too much, it's going to seep through all of the jimmies. So you need enough to make them stick, but not too much that it's going to be gross. So I don't know how to explain that, how much that is. If you can see how much I'm putting on the cake, then just try to do that. Now that that's done, just get down and make sure the wax paper is still even going the whole way around, because it might have moved a little bit as you were painting on the piping gel. That looks pretty good. I'm going to use a glove so I don't get the piping gel all over my hands. So this is where it gets messy. Take some nonpareils in your hand. And that doesn't really do much, as I'm showing you on the back of the cake. Man, I got to do this left-handed. So what I'm going to do is take some nonpareils in my hand and then put them on the side of the cake, rubbing it into the piping gel, trying to cover every space with the Jimmies. Okay, now that I went the whole way around, I want to fill in any spaces that are left open. So just keep finding the little open areas and pushing more Jimmies up against the cake. Now, if you have any spots where it's not really sticking, just take a little more piping gel and paint it in the open spots. And then I get rid of the extra that is on the cake board. I'll use a dry paintbrush and try to get rid of the extra. And now is where we take off the wax paper. So pulling your handy little tape tab, thank you very much, so much easier. And I'm going to carefully peel this off. Now, if you really have OCD and want it to be perfect, I can take a little paintbrush and getting down on at eye level, and basically this is a dry paintbrush, just pushing the Jimmies down into place so they're all even. This is a totally unnecessary step, and if you don't have OCD, you might not want to do this. Now, if you can see, there are spots where it's not perfect. There's a little bit missing here, a little bit missing here. You know, so what you can do if you want to drive yourself crazy and keep taking piping gel and filling in the little tiny areas, you can. Or you can just find what looks the best and make that the front of your cake. And the other part will be the back. I feel like this looks the most symmetrical, and this is the best part. So this is going to be the front of the cake. So I'm going to carefully lift this up. And now, since I don't want to waste all of these, I'm going to try to get them all together and put them back in here. So the top tier I'm going to do a little different. I'll show you what I'll do for that. The top tier, I want to do a lot of Jimmies on the top and then have it kind of come down sporadically to the bottom. It will make sense as I'm doing it. So just like I did before, take a little bit of piping gel. Well, that's a lot of piping gel. Wherever the piping gel is going to go is where the Jimmies are going to stick. So I want to have it all covering the top And you can do this wherever you want the Jimmies to go. It's totally up to you. But you just want to make sure you have a good coating of piping gel wherever you're putting the Jimmies. So totally covering the top. And then I want it to start heavy on the very top of the side and then go down a little lighter. So I'm going to make sure I have a good coating of it around the top. And then as I come down the side, I'm not going to use as much piping gel. I'm just going to try to make sure that it's covered, but not too much. So the Jimmies will stick to the side, but it's not going to be a full coverage like up at the top. Okay, now we take our Jimmies. Some of them are stuck together from the piping gel, so I'm just going to shake it up. Good. Now, doing the same thing. So starting on the top this time. So much easier on the top. And just trying to cover it all. Gotta do this for the camera. At the top, and it's gonna just fall down the sides. There's a lot on the top, so I'm just taking my finger and moving them off a little bit. And now I'm just going to bring them down the sides just a little bit more. In a sporadic fashion, if you will. And just like before, taking a little extra piping gel and filling in any areas that aren't sticking that you still want Jimmies to go. And just filling the holes. Now, same thing with this. I want to take a dry paintbrush and try to get rid of the extra Jimmies that are on the cake board. And then I really don't want any close to the bottom of the cake, so I'm just going to take my brush and try to brush some of them away so I have like a blank space near the bottom. And there we go. So I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator until I'm ready to stack the cakes. But here's 2 different ways to do Jimmy cakes. So here you go. Here are 2 different techniques that you can do on your cake with your Jimmies on it, or your sprinkles. I can't call them sprinkles. So a few things. You want to make sure with the piping gel that you have enough, but not too much so it doesn't clump together. You want to make sure that you have a cookie sheet to catch all of the overspill. And you're probably going to be cleaning up Jimmies for the next month and a half in your kitchen. So I think that's it. If you have any questions, leave them below and I get back. So if you have any questions, just leave them below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And just like always, if you like this video, feel free to like it and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already to see more videos like this. You can follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and I have my website. I will link all of that below. And I think that is it for now. So I will see you on the next one. Bye.